Nobita's Great Adventure in the Future. One sunny afternoon, Nobita was having another tough day. He had just received a failing grade on his math test and was being teased by John and Sunio as usual. Feeling down, Nobita dragged himself home and plopped down on the floor, sighing deeply. Seeing Nobita so upset, Doraemon knew he had to do something to cheer his friend up. "Nobita," Doraemon said, pulling out a futuristic-looking gadget from his pouch. "How about we go on an adventure to the future?" Nobita's eyes lit up with excitement. "Really? Can we see what the future will be like?" Doraemon nodded, smiling. "Yes, but remember, this isn't just for fun. The future depends on the choices we make today." Nobita agreed eagerly, and Doraemon used his time machine to transport them both to the year 2150. When they arrived, Nobita was amazed by what he saw. Tall, gleaming skyscrapers touched the clouds, cars flew through the air, and robots of all shapes and sizes roamed the streets, helping people with their daily tasks. As they wandered through the city, Nobita noticed something unusual. The people in this future seemed anxious and hurried, not at all like the happy and contented people he had imagined. Nobita asked Doraemon why everyone looked so worried. Doraemon explained, "In this future, people became so reliant on technology that they lost their sense of creativity and imagination. They stopped solving problems on their own and started depending entirely on machines." Nobita felt a pang of guilt. "Is this because of something I did?" Doraemon nodded solemnly. "It's not just you, Nobita. It's the choices we all make. If we don't balance our use of technology with our own efforts and creativity, this is what the future could look like." Determined to make things right, Nobita asked Doraemon for a way to inspire the people of the future. Doraemon smiled and handed Nobita a small gadget called the Imagination Spark. With this device, Nobita could share ideas and stories that would reignite people's creativity. Nobita began telling stories to the children of the future, stories full of adventure, friendship, and problem-solving. Slowly but surely, the people started to change. They began to use their imagination and creativity again, working alongside technology rather than relying on it completely. By the time Nobita and Doraemon returned to their own time, the future had become a much brighter and happier place. Nobita learned an important lesson. While technology can make our lives easier, it's our imagination, creativity, and hard work that truly shape the world. Back in the present, Nobita was more determined than ever to study hard and solve his problems without always depending on Doraemon's gadgets. And although he still had a lot to learn, he knew that with Doraemon by his side, anything was possible. The mysterious island of dreams. One day, Nobita was feeling particularly adventurous. After hearing a fantastic tale about a hidden island filled with treasures and dreams, he rushed home, eager to tell Doraemon all about it. "Doraemon, there's an island where all your dreams can come true," Nobita exclaimed, his eyes shining with excitement. "I want to go there." Doraemon was skeptical but curious. "An island where dreams come true? That sounds a bit too good to be true. But if you're that eager, we can check it out. I'll use the Dream Navigator gadget to locate it." With a few adjustments, Doraemon set the gadget to find the mysterious island. A swirling portal appeared in front of them, and without hesitation, Nobita jumped through, with Doraemon close behind. They landed on a stunning, tropical island, filled with lush greenery, sparkling waterfalls, and exotic animals. The air was sweet with the scent of flowers, and the sky was a vibrant shade of blue. It was the most beautiful place they had ever seen. As they explored the island, they noticed that anything Nobita wished for came true. When he wished for a mountain of ice cream, it appeared before him, and when he wished to fly like a bird, he found himself soaring through the air. But as they continued their adventure, Nobita noticed something strange. The more wishes he made, the more the island began to change. The once clear skies grew cloudy, and the vibrant colors of the island began to fade. "Doraemon, something's wrong," Nobita said, worried. "The island doesn't seem as magical as it did before." Doraemon, who had been observing quietly, nodded. "Nobita, this island grants wishes, but it also drains the energy and beauty from the land with every wish you make. It's a reminder that you can't have everything without consequences. Nobita felt guilty for being so greedy. He realized that while the island was beautiful, he had been taking its magic for granted. "What should we do, Doraemon? I don't want to destroy this place." Doraemon smiled gently. "You can undo the wishes by giving something back to the island. Think of ways to help it flourish instead of just taking from it." Nobita thought for a moment and then started planting seeds all over the island. He wished for the trees to grow tall and strong, for the flowers to bloom, and for the animals to be healthy and happy. As he did, the island slowly began to regain its color and vitality. By the time Nobita and Doraemon were ready to leave, the island was more beautiful than ever. It was alive with the sounds of nature, and the once fading colors were now vibrant and full of life. As they stepped back through the portal, returning home, Nobita felt a deep sense of satisfaction. He had learned that true happiness doesn't come from getting everything you want, but from giving back and caring for the world around you. Doraemon patted Nobita on the back. "You did well, Nobita. Remember, the greatest treasures aren't the ones you take, but the ones you help create." Nobita smiled, feeling proud of himself. "Thanks, Doraemon. I think I'll be a little more careful with my wishes from now on." And with that, they returned home, ready for their next adventure, with a newfound appreciation for the world and its wonders. The time capsule of friendship. One rainy afternoon, Nobita was feeling lonely. He had been arguing with his friends lately. John and Sunio had teased him, and even Shizuka seemed distant. He wished things could go back to the way they were when they all got along so well. Seeing Nobita's sadness, Doraemon decided to cheer him up. He pulled out a new gadget from his pouch, the friendship time capsule. "What's that, Doraemon?" Nobita asked, his curiosity piqued. "This is a special time capsule," Doraemon explained. "It allows you to send a message to your future self or to your friends in the past. It's a way to remind yourself of the bonds you've built over time." Nobita thought for a moment and decided to use the time capsule to send a message to himself from a year ago, when he and his friends were closer. He carefully wrote down a heartfelt note, reminding himself of the fun times they had shared, the games they played, and the support they had given each other. After sealing the note inside the capsule, Doraemon set the dial and sent it back in time. The next morning, Nobita woke up feeling strangely hopeful. As he walked to school, he felt something in his pocket. It was the note he had written, only now it was faded and worn, as if it had been with him for a long time. He read the message, and memories of the good times with his friends came flooding back. With renewed determination, Nobita decided to make things right with his friends. He approached Shizuka first, apologizing for not being a better friend lately. Shizuka smiled warmly and accepted his apology. Feeling encouraged, Nobita then went to John and Sunio, who were surprised by his sincere apology. They realized they had been too hard on him and apologized as well. To celebrate their renewed friendship, Nobita suggested they bury a real time capsule together. They all gathered their most cherished items. Shizuka added her favorite flower, John placed his trusty baseball glove, Sunio contributed a rare toy, and Nobita put in a small trinket Doraemon had given him. Finally, they all wrote letters to their future selves, promising to stay friends no matter what. They buried the capsule in a secret spot under a big tree near their school. As they covered it with earth, they made a pact to dig it up in 10 years, no matter where life took them. Years passed, and although they faced many challenges and grew in different directions, they never forgot the promise they made. On the day they had agreed upon, now young adults, they all gathered again at the same spot. As they dug up the time capsule, they reminisced about their childhood and the adventures they shared. Each item they retrieved brought back memories, and the letters reminded them of the unbreakable bond they had formed. Nobita, now wiser and more confident, thanked Doraemon for helping him understand the value of friendship and the importance of holding on to those we care about, even when times get tough. And so, they stood together under the big tree, just as they had all those years ago, grateful for the friendships that had endured the test of time. The lost city beneath the sea. One warm afternoon, Nobita and his friends were hanging out at the park, listening to an old sailor telling tales of the sea. He spoke of a legendary city hidden beneath the ocean, a place where mermaids, treasure, and secrets beyond imagination were said to reside. That's just a myth, John scoffed, but Nobita's imagination had already been captured by the sailor's story. Back at home, Nobita couldn't stop thinking about the lost city. He ran to Doraemon, bursting with excitement. Doraemon, what if the city is real? Can we go find it? Doraemon, always ready for an adventure, smiled and pulled out a gadget from his pouch. This is the Aqua Explorer ***, he said, holding up a small, shiny submarine model. It will allow us to travel deep underwater and explore places no human has ever seen. Nobita's eyes sparkled with excitement. Without wasting any time, they set up the Aqua Explorer, and soon, Nobita, Doraemon, Shizuka, John, and Sunio found themselves inside a sleek, futuristic submarine, ready to dive into the depths of the ocean. As they descended into the deep blue, they marveled at the colorful coral reefs, schools of shimmering fish, and mysterious sea creatures that swam past. The deeper they went, the darker it became, until the only light came from the Aqua Explorer itself. Suddenly, they saw something incredible, a faint glow in the distance. As they approached, they could see the outline of a massive underwater city, its buildings covered in glowing algae, and its streets bustling with strange, aquatic beings. Wow, it's real! Shizuka gasped in amazement. They carefully navigated the Aqua Explorer into the city and docked near what looked like a grand palace made of coral and pearls. As they stepped out, they were greeted by a group of friendly merfolk who guided them inside. The merfolk explained that their city, Atlantis, had been hidden for centuries, protected by powerful magic to keep it safe from the outside world. They had heard of the surface world but had never seen humans up close before. Nobita and his friends were in awe as they explored Atlantis, discovering magnificent statues, ancient libraries filled with scrolls, and gardens of glowing sea plants. They even met the wise queen of Atlantis, who told them the true story of the lost city. Atlantis was once a thriving city above the waves, the queen explained. But as time passed, we were forced to hide beneath the sea to protect our people and our knowledge. Now, we live in harmony with the ocean, but we've always wondered what the world above is like. John, who had been skeptical at first, was now completely enthralled. This place is amazing. I wish we could stay here forever. But Doraemon reminded them of the sailor's tale. The city is beautiful, but it's also a place of great responsibility. The knowledge and treasures here must be protected, not taken lightly. The queen nodded. You're wise, Doraemon. Many have sought our treasures, but they are not what they seem. The true treasure of Atlantis is our way of life, the balance we found with the ocean. Nobita and his friends realized that while Atlantis was full of wonders, its greatest gift was the wisdom of its people. They promised to keep the city's secret and never reveal its location. As a parting gift, the queen gave Nobita a small, glowing pearl, saying, "This pearl will remind you of the balance between knowledge and nature. Use it wisely." With heavy hearts, they bid farewell to the merfolk and returned to the Aqua Explorer. As they ascended, the lights of Atlantis slowly faded away, leaving them with unforgettable memories. When they finally surfaced, the sun was setting, casting a golden glow over the ocean. Nobita held the pearl in his hand, feeling a sense of peace. "Thank you, Doraemon," Nobita said quietly. "I learned that some treasures are more valuable than gold or jewels. They're the lessons we learn and the memories we make." Doraemon smiled and nodded. "Exactly, Nobita. Sometimes, the greatest adventures are those that teach us something important." And with that, they headed home, knowing that the lost city of Atlantis would always hold a special place in their hearts.